Peace. What it do? How the cool coming live. Mental Arts Dojo 08.
What's an
Alex
administrator
IT.
do in the
Coming
face
soon.
of a clone? Modeled in the spirit, the mirror taking the form. Snapping intelligence, crop irrelevance, an immaculate deconception. Fuck you and stay celibate. Eating shellfish in the ocean of guilt. Be still, find truth, get left alone with the bill. What's a shadow to do in the creep of a merciless light? But projected dark matter is a purchasing price. I'm on the hunt for a Vern Fleming jersey. No more avocado toast, we're going back to Pop-Tarts. On a string, a little string of bells.
Hey
man.
How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Just chilling out here, just excited to get into this verse. Excited to see you, Alex IT. Been a minute.
Likewise. How you doing?
You're doing well, actually. Just, putting up with the whole quarantine situation.
Yeah.
And trying to stay inspired, trying to stay moving. So I got this banger of a verse. Got me, I got to write something now,
Yeah.
But yeah, how you been doing? How's the family? Hopefully everybody's been doing good.
Yeah. We're doing all right. Yeah. We're getting through. So.
That's how it is.
Yeah.
So this week, I'm at a loss for words, man. We need the Doom voice to make an appearance. Like with no Doom voice, it doesn't work.
Yeah.
I'm playing.
You wanna confirm that I can change my voice and not make it sound like Doc IT, right?
You gotta make sure you don't got a voice changer,
Yeah. Well, so I actually, to like do that, I have to listen to Doom and like do a verse with Doom at the same time, and then when my voice is prepped, then I can do like impromptu. Man, it's really hard for me to get there. I can try.
Nah. I'm just I'm just messing with you, IT. But I know what you mean. It's kind of like when you listen to Jay-Z and then you could just start kicking the Jay-Z flow. You gotta kind of bump it.
Yeah. So it's not automatic. I gotta put myself in that spot, in that space.
You gotta load up the program.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had to make a Neo joke. Like I had to. I'm sorry. Just one and done.
Yeah,
right?
that's cool. That's cool IT for you.
So you know how it is.
Yeah.
So for this week number 8, MMachina. Is this how it's pronounced?
Machina.
See, I thought it was Machina, but I'm like I have a tendency of like pronouncing things completely wrong, so I'm like
it's Latin, right?
Word.
And I don't know, I'm not sure what the right pronunciation is, but there was a movie that came out a couple of years ago called Ex Machina that was kind of popular. This verse isn't about that movie, but I think maybe if people understand like that saying, that might be something where they have heard it before.
Right. And is that to do with like AI?
Yeah. So the movie itself is about like this guy who builds an AI robot that's very lifelike, and someone sort of develops feelings for the robot, and the robot's very human. There's a twist ending. I don't want to, and it's actually a pretty good movie. You should check it out. It's I don't want to spoil it for anybody if they haven't seen it, but yeah, it's sort of about like this robot with very human tendencies.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that kind of, I guess, is in relation to the whole robotic like scheme of the verse, I guess, right?
Yeah. The verse is I wanted to sort of do like the theme that some of the other ITs were doing about talking about the mental process, and so this was actually not the first version that I went through. I was playing with some other beats or listening to some other beats, and I started the one that I was going to go with. It reminded me of like, it sounded like kind of like a machine, or it reminded me of like this cartoon machine, kind of like just like clunky and sort of just chugging along this terrain, kind of like a cartoon train going up the hill, And And then I decided, and, and then the news about Doom came out, and I started listening to a bunch of Doom, and I just decided, like, I wonder what this would be like if I tried some of this over like Doom beat. And so I had to like change up the lyrics and stuff. But it's about like it's about the mental process, and sort of like the way that I think about it as being sort of like this machine going through this difficult terrain of, what are your feelings in your mind, and then the machine is like translating those feelings, or sort of what it's centered around, kind of.
Okay, that's dope, because I mean,
Yeah.
I love the beat choice, I love the delivery, I love the verse. Like it to me, it was very like classic material, right? And the thing is, for me, especially with that beat, is because the first time I heard that beat, I had wished that Doom would have rapped on the beat, right? I was so,
Yeah.
I was like,
Well, so the first time I heard that beat, and I don't know if it was actually the first time I heard Doom, but the beat that I heard it, or the time I heard it first, was on a Vast Air album, and Doom did a feature with Vast Air, and he did rap over it.
oh wow,
So the song is called "The Super Friends," and yeah, look it up. It's Vast Air and Doom, and it's my first memory of Doom. It might not have been the first time I actually heard him, but it's like my first memory. And when I heard that, it's like, man, I wish I rapped like that. Is what I want, And that's really around the time when I first started trying to rap. And I just was like, this guy's crazy. And yeah, and I at the time, and I started studying like what he was doing a long time ago, and trying to take parts of his delivery and stuff. Yeah, so yeah, check out that song.
I had to pull it up so I don't forget about it. I got it. I bookmarked the page, and yeah, and it's like it's the thing with Doom for me. It's like I feel like it's very even like instrumental in my flow as well. Like I feel like there's a lot of people who've learned, because you learn so much from just listening to Doom, and how he moves and how he puts his voice with the beat, and like it's so like unorthodox, but it's so like crazy. Like, yo, that's insane, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, 100%. So that's a big salute. Like this verse is crazy to me because of that. I was like, damn, like, what I'm saying?
And, and to be honest, I kind of felt like I was a little worried to do it in this venue, because I kind of felt like I'm kind of cheating here, because all these other ITs are using, like, no one's using a Doom beat, and how can you not like how can you not like a Doom beat? So it's like, I apologize if
so we're gonna have to ban you. We're gonna have to ban you from the Dojo. No, I'm just playing. But no, it was super ill. I feel like it was super well executed, and I can't wait to kind of get into it. And even the comedic delivery, even it was very like Doom-esque. Like it was like just
yeah.
I can't say words.
If you're gonna try to do some Doom stuff, you gotta like get a little zany with it a little bit, I guess. So that's kind of, I threw a little in there, I think.
That's a fact, and it was incredible. And so usually the way we do this is we'll get you to do the verse for us.
Yeah.
And then we'll kind of break it down. We'll kind of go through the whole ideas and everything, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, the floor is yours, IT.
All right. I don't have it memorized, so I gotta read it. So okay. Turn it on. The machine clanks and whirs along, a bulb of dreams teetering over a crude and cursed form. Walking on like Rudy Humble in Notre Dame. Rhyme make through mindscapes you wouldn't find a Sherpa on. A QAnon, fur scones, loopy larper kids. White people climb walls to double stamp the call for dips. No take backsies, a hate speech in the alphabets. The brainstorms and capitals. The aftermath is calculus. Compute atlas, calculate parabolas. Mind the curves running, trying to break the laws of averages. She's not gonna hold, the rivets rocking unbolt, traversing space-time, opening holes like dropping the soap. Talking my feces, disclose secrets and verbal diarrhea, telekinesis, words, rap machinist slash old nerd building like a deltoid, these well-oiled Rube Goldbergs, and do the whole verse test on the prototype with either cool or mental arts dojo night.
Come on, man. How can I hate when your name dropped in me, man?
I gotta do it for you.
I gotta give this verse 5. But yo, I mean, incredible verse. Lots of stuff in there that I need to learn. lots of words that I need to even learn how to pronounce the meanings. And so let's kind of get right into it.
All right. All right. Yeah. So like I said, this is the machine theme. So the idea is that I'm not even entirely clear, but like the machine is either like the mind, or it's the mental process, or it's the verse itself, and trying to create the verse. And the machine is like going through this landscape, which is the emotions and the things you want to say. It's the feelings, right? And so the first line, turn it on, the machine clanks and whirs along. So I'm turning on the machine. I'm going to get this thing started. A bulb of dreams teetering over a crude and cursed form. So I actually use this reference. It's a reference to a poem called "The Floor" by a poet called Russell Edson, and he refers to his mind or his thoughts as a bulb of teetering, or a teetering bulb of dream and dread. And so I always like that imagery of like the mind being like a bulb or a light bulb. And so I'm trying to, sort of paint that picture that I'm a machine, there is a machine and it's got this bulb, and it's teetering as it's walking along this landscape. And it's, like I said, I was envisioning sort of like a cartoon machine. So I said crude and cursive form. Just like this clanky, clunky thing moving through this landscape, right?
And like the bulb is usually represents like a bright idea, like
thinking, and
right.
Again, and also in the poem, he's sort of he's always trying to balance and not fall to the floor and crash, right? And just like have everything just leak out of him, and so. So it's about sort of like balancing on this really tough task. And so the next line, walking on like Rudy humble into Notre Dame. Have you heard of the movie Rudy? You know the movie Rudy? No? Okay, so yeah. So it's
I'm gonna Google it right now.
We got like 20 years of age between the two of us, I think. But Rudy was like a movie from the like maybe 90s, I think. And it's about this guy. It's based off a true story, Rudy Rudiger, and it's the guy from Lord of the Rings, one of the hobbits. I can't remember, but anyway, he's this really small like football player, and all he wants to do with his life is play at Notre Dame. And he's got a lot of heart, but he just doesn't have like a lot of physical talent. And he just like, and the movie's just about him trying to get like one play in, but he was a walk-on the team at Notre Dame. And so walking on like Rudy, I'm kind of like this maybe ill-equipped machine walking into Notre Dame, and Notre Dame being this really challenging place to perform. So it could be like your feelings, your thoughts. For me, again, kind of a challenging thing to put into words sometimes. Again, I also thought of like Notre Dame as being like SOSA, because there's so many like rap giants within the ITs, and I kind of feel like I'm the little one. Sometimes Rudy walking into Notre Dame, Notre Dame. Yeah. Rhyme make through mindscapes you wouldn't find a Sherpa on. So again, Doom like was, had all these like nested rhymes like in his bars, right? So I threw this rhyme made through mindscapes inside this. And again, the mindscape is this terrain that this machine is on. And the terrain is so tough, you're not even going to find a Sherpa on it, right? You know what a Sherpa is?
I'm gonna be real. Right when I hopped on this call, I Googled Sherpa right away.
Sherpa's like a guide through the mountains, right?
Okay.
Or at least that's my understanding. I haven't actually looked it up, but that's what I thought it was when I wrote it. I could be wrong.
Yeah, it says somebody who's renowned in the skill of mountaineering.
Yeah. So you'll see them sometimes in movies. They'll be like these like just like sort of like little short, small guys who just they know the mountains really well and they lead white people through the mountains sometimes and stuff who want to go on adventures and stuff. And they're dressed in fur and, you know, just ready for the elements, right? But the landscape is so difficult, you're not even finding a Sherpa on it. Yeah.
And that line is like, it just sounds beautiful to the ear, the way that you put the rhyme schemes in and then bring it back to the on sound.
Yeah.
It just sounds like very Doom-esque. It just, to me, that's the, I don't know how to explain it, man. That line is just beautiful. Like, you know?
You know, yeah. I mean, like sound, I think one of the things, again, that sort of really, that got me into Doom when I first started listening was just the sounds he was making, right? I didn't know what he's saying most of the time. And, you know, even when you go back and try to figure out what he says now, sometimes it's like, I can't believe all this stuff is packed in here, but like, it's just the sounds, right? I mean, most of the time, when I write something, it's really driven mostly by the rhyme scheme and stuff. I try to go back and forth between rhyme scheme and meaning, but a lot of the times I just like go pretty heavy on the rhymes, or at least I feel like I do.
Yeah, but this one just tied it, like it just rolled nicely. It had the elements and then the meaning too, you know what I'm saying? So it was like everything was just there in that piece. And I like how you do the again, like, you know how Doom will rhyme on like the odd word out kind of. So it was kind of like it fit that pocket. It was just super dope, I think. And I like the word mindscape. It just sounds nice, you know?
Yeah. So next line, or QAnon, Furman Sconce, Loopy LARPA kids.
What are you saying, Alex? What is going on?
So
sounds dope.
So you know about the riots in the Capitol last week,
right?
Yeah. So a lot of the you know, there were these QAnon conspiracy theorists who are known to be there. QAnon is, I don't know a lot about it, but it's a group of conspiracy theorists who think a lot of false things. I mean, you can look it up yourself. But they, you know, there were, you know, numbers of them found at the riots last week. And a lot of, I don't know how much of the footage you saw.
They were rocking fur, right?
Yes, some of the most famous images of these guys wearing fur, dressed up as, you know, and then LARPers. You know what a LARPer is? It's an acronym. It's live action role play. So it's guys who dress up and do different. You could be like a LARPer in like medieval times, like playing knights and dragons and stuff.
Kind of like cosplaying, kind of.
Yeah, cosplaying. Yeah.
Okay.
And so a lot of them are kind of dressed up as soldiers, and so I'm talking about like, so the Sherpas wear fur, and then these LARPers were wearing fur, and then you have to go to the next line. White people climbing walls to double stamp their call for dibs. Again, literally there at the riots, people were climbing walls. So I'm talking about, you know, this machine being on this really rough terrain. You're not going to find Sherpas on it. You're not going to find these guys that are riding, even climbing walls. You're not going to find them in this terrain because it's like so difficult to navigate.
It's separating the people who are actually on that quest versus the
yeah. Well,
right.
Yeah. So I mean, originally I didn't even have those lines in the verse, and then I started thinking that, I don't know, I wanted to say something about the you know, the event. So I threw that in there. And then again, you know, white people climbing walls to double stamp their call for dibs. So this has, you know, I'm not only literally talking about climbing walls, but I'm talking figuratively. When someone's climbing walls, they're going nuts. They're going, they're getting wild. They're not liking what's going on. And at the riot, you know, it was a, you know, a racist motivated, white supremacy motivated sort of thing where these people were going nuts. And what I would say double stamp their call for dibs. So it's about people being upset about their perception that they're losing control of something that they already have control of. They're trying to call dibs on something they already have dibs on, right? So when you're double stamping your call for dibs, you're calling dibs again, right? And you just want to make sure you got it, right? So yeah, so that was just the commentary on that. I stick with that in the next line too, because I'm talking about double stamp and dibs. These are like things that, like, you know, when you're playing games as a kid, you call dibs on things. And then the next line, no take backsies or hate speech in the alphabets. Take backsies, again, I gotta ask you, have you seen the movie Dumb and Dumber? You know?
Yeah.
So there's a scene in there where Harry and Lloyd are like fighting with each other inside the van over something, I can't remember, but they have like this fight where it basically ends in saying like, no take backsies, touch blue, make it true. You can't triple stamp a double stamp. You can't triple stamp a double stamp. Yeah. So I'm trying to reference all that in that the sense that, like, you know, what's going on is just like for people who aren't thinking things out right. And I still.
No, go ahead. I was gonna say that the phrase, it's very like kiddish. It sounds like very like a childlike thing, right? Yeah. But also sounds very Doom, like like
right.
In that type of comedy,
to stick
right?
with the Doom theme is like you know, there's a lot of like you know, cartoony type of stuff in there, so I wanted to keep that in there. And then with the hate speech in the alphabets, again, I'm sticking with the kid theme, talking about alphabets. I don't know if alphabets are around anymore. It was a cereal that was just like you could make words. Yeah. So it's just letters inside the alphabets, and I'm talking about blending in the hate speech from the riot, being with the kid theme here. Yeah. So I stick with that a little bit. So the next line is the brainstorms in capitals. The aftermath is calculus. And now if I stick with the riot theme, they storm the Capitol, and then so brainstorms and capitals, and then the aftermath is calculus. The aftermath from the riot, people are doing all these mental gymnastics now to justify what happened, and it takes a lot of like formulaic algebraic thinking, overfitting to try to make sense of, or to justify what happened, not to make sense of it. But you can take it that way, or you can take it back to the thought process, the machine going along this landscape where brainstorm is thinking, right? And when I'm thinking up an idea, it's in capitals, it's in all caps. It's, you know, the feelings are very heavy, right? And I want to like scream it, right? But the aftermath of the storm, the aftermath of the brainstorm is the actual verse that I'm writing, right? And it's calculus. I got to think about it. I got to put all this stuff together. I got to like figure out the formula, right? So that's that line.
And that's it's very like machine like. It's like, you know, when you're watching cartoons and they show like the what's the word called, conveyor belt, when like it goes in and then it just comes out like completely different. So it kind of puts that image. And the capitals too is like, capitals is in like capitals like cities and countries and yada yada, like a terrain reference too, right? I don't know if you meant it that way, but it sounds like that, right? So it's dope.
You're always so good at making stuff sound better than what you think. So yeah, I'll go with that. I'll go with that.
That's dope. I mean, you know, so many layers to it. And I like even the way that you have it written with the comma. It adds to the machine depiction for me. Because for me, I love rapping in commas. Like that's my style, right? So super dope with like one side. It's just, it paints a picture. It's very like a lot of imagery going on, you know?
Yeah, thank you. Let's see. Aftermath is calculus. Compute atlas. Calculate parabolas. back to the machine theme, it's like this machine is you know, scanning the landscape. It's figuring out what the map is. The parabola is you know, it's a curve, it's a trajectory, right, that you follow. So it's calculating that path, the trajectory through the landscape.
You're taking me back to grade 11 math classes, IT.
Yeah, I haven't used the word. Yeah, I mean, I haven't used the word parabola in a long time.
It's a nice word, though. I can't lie.
Yeah,
I have bad memories, nice, but it's a nice word.
Yeah. Mind the curves, running, trying to break the laws of averages. So again, a parabola is like it's a trajectory, it's a curve. Mm-hmm. So the machine is minding the curves. It's going along this path. It's trying to stick to the road or stick to the path. And the running, trying to break the laws of averages, that has to do with like, so a curve can also be like a distribution, which like a bell curve, right? Mm-hmm. So if you're talking about where you are on the bell curve, and you can determine what the average is, right? And when you're writing a verse or whenever you're doing something that you're trying to be good at, you're trying to do better than average. You're trying to always like up your game, right? Mm-hmm. So you're trying to break the law of averages. You're trying to be more than that, right? So that's what that line is. Mm-hmm. To go on to the next line, she's not going to hold, the rivets rock and unbolt. Again, just sticking with the machine going along this path. And the saying, like, she's not going to hold, I don't know if you've heard that, like, again, like in movies, but like sometimes I've seen it like in submarine movies and stuff where the submarine is going through like really deep water and all of a sudden it's starting to shake and it's starting to break apart. Or even like in outer space, the ship is like going so fast, it's starting to fall apart. So that's the imagery I'm trying to put there. This machine is starting to do this impossible stuff. It's starting to fall apart, or it could be starting to fall apart.
I just got to touch on one little piece, the laws of averages bar. Yo. If I put that in context with the previous lines of like the storming, the Capitol, and all the people and the laws, it's like, to me, it puts the idea of like the laws were made back in the day. Like times have changed completely. We're still living by stuff that's super outdated. So I don't know. Yeah. It just hit me, and I was like, oh shit! Like,
yeah. Actually, I thought about that too, but I was hoping maybe you might.
That was crazy because if you look at it, break the laws, comma of averages. Yeah. Oh damn! Like
Right. Yeah. Crazy. Yeah. I like that you caught that.
That's crazy. I seen it. I was like, should I say something? Like, I gotta say something.
No, yeah.
I gotta say something.
You say what you feel. Say what you feel, man. Yeah. So let's see. Traversing space-time, open and holds like dropping the soap. So this machine's going through time, space-time, maybe opening up wormholes, right? Going. I
gotta pause that. I'm gonna Yo, I know you're baiting me with that line. I know you're baiting me, but yo, I'm gonna take the bait. Yeah, do your thing, IT.
Well, no, I mean, like, I'm about done. I'm done with it, man. You
did your thing, you know?
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah. You're opening holes, right? You drop the soap. You got to bend over, pick up the soap. Which leads me to the next line. Talking my feces.
That's it.
Yeah. Disclose secrets and verbal diarrhea, telekinesis. So this is just really a redundant way of saying communicating, right? Mm. So you're talking, you're letting your inner thoughts out through verbalizing it. Mm. And what really is verbalizing then I sort of see it as like telekinesis, right? Because you're taking your thoughts, you're translating it into movement, and your communication you know, if you do it right, it can move people, it can move things,
And
right?
again,
So
it puts that machine, the input output kind of
yeah, yeah, again,
feel.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's about that translation, that box, like you were saying earlier, on that conveyor belt. You got the in, you got the transformation in the box, and then you got something coming out of it. Yeah. Verbal diarrhea, telekinesis, redundant way of saying words, words. So next line, rap machinist slash old nerd. That's just basically me. I'm this machinist, either machine operator, machine builder. Building like a deltoid, these well-oiled Rube Goldbergs. So your deltoid is your muscle. Cool IT, the mind is a muscle. And it can be a well-oiled muscle, you know, it can be a good-looking muscle. And just like machines, just like machines, they can be well-oiled. But the thing about this machine, do you know what a Rube Goldberg machine is?
I was about to just Google it right now, but I feel like I heard it before.
Yeah, so it's like, it's basically, it's these machines that do the simplest thing you can possibly do in the most complex way. So it's sort of like the parkour of machines, right?
Like the domino one where they put the ball and like all the types of things, and then
yeah, people like show this. They make videos of this stuff all the time. You know, it might take like 10 minutes for like, and I think one of the first Rube Goldberg machines I ever like saw. I think if you like see it on Wikipedia or something, it'll be like a guy. It'll be like a napkin. Just like this really complex machine to wipe this guy's mouth, essentially. And it goes through like dozens and dozens of steps just to wipe this guy's mouth. And sometimes like the mental process for me is sort of like, I'm going through all these steps, all these transformations, and taking these thoughts. And really the output is just like this, just words, right? And it just, it's like amazing how complicated it can be to just like try to do or say something simple. Or at least for me it is sometimes.
Bars.
Yeah. And then of course, you know, the last two lines I think basically speak for themselves. And do the whole works. Test on the prototype, which is what we're doing right now. The prototype is the verse. We are testing the structure of the verse with Ida Cool on Mental Arts Dojo night. So that's it.
I mean, the last bar is probably the craziest of the whole. No, I'm just playing.
You know who Ida Cool is, right? You got to listen to him.
I mean, damn. You know, but I really like that the whole works test on a prototype. It's so like mad scientist genius-esque, like villainous, like, and I feel like even the whole like references, like there's so many even things to kind of unpack in terms of the flow, in terms of the style, even the Ruby, is it Rube Goldberg? The way, like, I think the first time I heard that was when I was in like grade school. Like a teacher showed me something, and I haven't heard that name in so long. But once you said it, I'm like, damn, because for me, those machines always fascinated me. Like, you know, when you'd watch the movies when the guy would like literally put a ball and all this stuff just to knock a domino, and then everything. Stuff like that is so like just interesting to watch.
Yeah.
It's kind of like ASMR for the mind. I don't know how to explain it. Like, you know, it's different. You know what I'm saying? So
now you have to tell me what ASMR.
Oh, okay. That's like when people like they'll get like certain like noises that like just sound good, like, and they'll basically get like on a mic and they'll just make the noise and you'll just hear it, and then it's like relaxing or something. That's at least what they refer to it as, right? I think. I mean,
I don't know.
Make sure to Google. I'm not saying anything wrong. Hold up.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a feeling of well-being combined with a tingling sensation in the scalp, as experienced by some people in response to a specific, I guess, hearing stimulus or something. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Okay. Sounds pretty good. Okay. but yeah, IT. To me, the verse is. I really like the verse, and I feel like you executed it like super dope, and we need more. I don't know how to say this to you. Like, we need more music, man. Like.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
It's not enough, IT. Like,
I appreciate that, IT. It's nice to hear. It's nice to hear that. I am actually, you know, I've been working on something with my twin brother actually, Mistozi, and he was actually who we were playing at the beginning of this. At the beginning of the live, that was some of stuff that he and I are working on together. as a rap group, because actually, you know, we've been in bands together basically our whole lives, and
You could say life. You could be singular. I mean,
yeah, right. Yeah, so you can find out like more of my stuff. Actually, he posts a lot of my stuff on his website, just like Nastosi.com. You can find it there. Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, here's the thing. Like, I feel like with like for somebody who's like so like lyrically like inclined, like talented, like I feel like a full length project or something, it's just like when you get a little bit, you just want more. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I feel
Well,
like
you know, I mean, I do small things here and there, and you know, I think I'm putting out like something more along the lines of like a full length project probably pretty soon. You know, we're like 90-ish% done with it.
Listen, man, I don't trust rappers when they give percentages. It's always lies. You're like, yeah, I'm 80%. You won't see it in 10 years. Happened too many times.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
But we'll take your word for it, Alex. We'll take your word for it. You know.
You know, yeah. Please
100%.
do.
And here's the thing. I got a quick question again for the verse though.
Yeah.
So with when you came to kind of get more into this verse, like, and your writing style of it, would you say your regular writing style is more similar to this, or did you really have to truly like adapt yourself for it? Like, how does that kind of work?
I mean, the vocal tone, I had to adapt a little bit. I think this is actually it's actually pretty close to my writing technique. I mean, like you know, if you were to look at my lyrics, they might actually look a lot like this. The delivery is not necessarily the way that I tend to deliver things. But the nice thing is that like after going back through this, I'm starting to feel like, well, maybe I should start trying to deliver some more stuff like this. But like, yeah. I mean, it really is like this sort of, this sort of style, the writing style, the word style is pretty much how I write. And I mean, here's the thing too. Like, I mean, I've been trying to rap for, you know, a while, and most of the time when I do it, it's mostly writing. I do it like late at night or early in the morning when people are sleeping. So a lot of my verses, the stuff that I write, never gets spoken or recorded. It just stays written, right? So I've had a lot of time to like work on writing, but as far as like delivering stuff, like vocalizing it, less so, not as much, you know. So
yeah, and I mean, to me, like even hearing this, even with you doing it as a Doom-esque piece, it didn't sound like a bite to me. You know what I mean?
I'm glad.
Certain things, yeah. There's certain times where it's like you know, even me, like I'll do something and I hear it and I'm like, it sounds too much. But I feel like you kind of have your own style, and I feel like it's really dope because it's kind of like a classic style. Like, you know, you hear a style and you're like, yo, I kind of want more material, or I want to hear it, but at the same time, it's like you could see something like legendary bloom from it, and that's kind of when I hear this verse, I'm like, yo, this verse is crazy. At the same time, it's like sometimes you get the feeling, and it's kind of hard to describe it. You know what I'm saying? And to me, I got the feeling as if I was listening to Doom, as if I was listening to like an artist who is of that caliber, right? So, you know what I'm saying? It's just wanted to.
Well, I appreciate it.
Gas you up, IT. You know.
Yeah.
you can cash app me. You can PayPal me later for this. But you know what I'm saying? I just gotta say, you know,
be my consultant. Yeah, I mean, like that. That's I appreciate it. I appreciate it. IT. Yeah, I'll think about it. But I'm not trying to. I don't want to steal from anybody. And yeah.
Nah, like it doesn't. That's not what I meant. Like I'm just saying, like some people they're you're able to kind of take something and create your own thing out of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it doesn't. Well, it sounds different, kind of, right? So that was super ill.
Yeah, and I mean, I think I'm glad you brought that up because, you know, this is a mental arts dojo, right? I mean, like we're talking about the process of growing creativity, and part of that process is imitating your heroes, right? And so, you know, I used to really be into martial arts. I used to imitate like Bruce Lee. Like I just like watched all this stuff, memorized all this stuff. You know, that's how you learn, right? So I learned a lot from Doom. And and you know, I do take time to try to imitate some of my other heroes too, and you blend them all together, you get your own thing going, right? It's sort of like it's the growth process. And like, you know, Maven IT the other week had mentioned, like, he still feels like he's growing. He's still trying to figure out like his signature. I feel the same way, you know. I'm still like in that stage where still feel like I want to imitate other people, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that necessarily, because I'm never gonna like do it like they do. It's gonna be a mixture of like everything that I like, right? And I, you know, and imitation is just part of that growth process, I think. So
that's a fact. I mean,
yeah,
for me, that's what I do. Like, I listen to the track, I'm like, man, if I was this person, I'd say this, and then I kind of do my own thing, right? So it's super dope, right? There was one more thing. Is it like, can I make a John Wick joke? Can I make a joke?
Can, like, yeah, I mean, you're gonna do what you're gonna do.
I was trying so hard. Like, right before this, I'm like, man, I'll make a Neo joke, John Wick joke. What do I say? But now I'm playing. But I mean, you know, like, thank you for joining us. Thank you for kind of kicking this verse IT. I mean, it's always a pleasure to hear new material from you. And I think this is really I think this is the second verse I've heard from you, IT. But every time it's been, right? So,
yeah.
Actually, well, I guess the third one. I guess we got the other one too, right? So
yeah, I appreciate it, man.
I'm gonna definitely be hitting you up, IT, more. I need to hear more material. I mean, need to just take it, absorb it. You know what I'm saying? Just learn, just imitate. Like, if you hear a either cool Alex IT reference track, or not like a person, just know what's going on. That's what we're here for, IT. But yeah, I mean, thank you so much for joining us. Is there anything else? So again, we should be on the lookout, Mstozy.com, I believe.
Yeah.
New material.
Again, that's my brother, and he's, you know, he's super talented. I mean, he's way better at this stuff than I am, actually. So, you know, check out Mstozy.com. Also, you know, the project we're putting together as a rap group, we're DeVito's. That's our group name, is DeVito's. So. Yeah, you can look out there for more work from DeVito's too.
100%. Okay, IT. And yeah, and to everybody that's watching, we were breaking down Source 08 MMachina, and just make sure you guys check that out. Make sure y'all follow Alex IT. And yeah, be seeing you, John. I think that's the one I'm gonna go with.
All right.
Peace, IT. Take care.
Thank you, IT.
Peace.
Bye.